Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici. Welcome, my friends. Welcome to my channel. My name is Vincenzo, and today I've got another pen review for you. A Chinese pen that's kind of forgotten, at least I have, and it's been kind of, bugging me. Every time I see it, I said to myself, you know what, that looks like an attractive pen. And the price was right, so I snapped it up, and I'm proposing it for you today. We'll take a look at this pen. It's got some nice features, and figured I'd share that with you. So stay tuned. So here she is. It's the Hongdian 8041. First thing I noticed is that I can't find the number on this pen, which is rare for Hongdian because most of their pens have their model number inscribed somewhere. If it's on that finial, I got to tell you, it's just too small for me to make out, even with a loop. I think I barely see Hongdian. But let's start with that finial. It's a nice finial. It's got that decorative kind of, flared up. And we've seen this before in Hongdian pens. This is not the first time. It's kind of a little bit of a design feature that they have in their pens. So that's the cap. The cap has got this kind of, how do they describe it? 1 second. Let me just look at my notes. Yeah, okay. It's just simply a wave pattern on the cap, if you will. It's got a nice, functional clip. I like that squarish clip. It gives it a nice design, nice look. It's pretty, even sized, I would say. Even the barrel just slightly decreasing as it goes towards the end finial. The end finial is simply a steel gold-plated flat finial. And then you have that very nice blue and gold pattern. And the pattern is mountain blue with Qinghai Tibet Plateau geographic carving. So it is a geographic design there of some sort. Very, very nice, I've got to tell you. It's got a nice weight to it, very classy look. And let's see how many turns to open this up. 1 turn, beautiful. So for those of you where the turns make a difference, I could never figure out why, but, well, I could figure out why. I guess if you need to uncap it and cap it quickly, you don't want to go through 4 turns. But it's never prevented me from purchasing an otherwise gorgeous pen, be it because of its nib, because of the way it writes, or the rest of the materials. I know some of you are really particular about the number of turns, and it could be a deal breaker. But I can tell you, folks, it's certainly enough for me. So there you have the nib. This is that classic Hongdian Chinese knot carving nib, and this one is a medium plastic feed, Now, I think this is kind of the older feed because I believe that Hongdian did change their feeds. So I guess this is probably part of an older inventory. It is a cartridge converter. Nice, fairly decent quality converter. It does have an O-ring right there, so which is nice. So this pen not going anywhere once it's capped. You're not going to get any slippage there at all. Let's take a look at the cap to see whether or not there is any step there that would, or sealing. I see a kind of a plastic insert there of some sort, and there is a slight capping where probably this part of the nib fits. So I've got a feeling it may actually be sealed properly. But there you have it. And you know, the Hongdians usually, generally speaking, don't dry up as quickly as some other pens. So that's one of their features, I find, anyway, over time. I mean, you know, they're not perfect, but they resist drying quite a bit. So that's the pen on the outside. I think there's not much more to speak of there. Let's do a, while we're at it, let's do a pen comparison. Here you go. I've chosen a few for you. Now, let me just get the number of this one. Hongdian, and this is the 231. Okay. So there you have the pens capped. And I've added the Safari. I saw some of you have indicated that it's a good thing to have the Safari there all the time as a kind of a tester. It's slightly smaller than the Safari, but you can see it's comparable to the 231, this Hongdian Dragon. By the way, I just wanted to mention, I forgot if I mentioned this, I finally got a cap replaced from Etsy after 2 tries. This is the 3rd one. Apparently they solved the problem. And I'm not sure that got out there, but I always thought that this pen was a gorgeous pen otherwise. And you know what? I've had it for several months now. No cracking. The other one, the number 2, cracked. I never used it. I just left it in its wrapping, put it away. I said, I'm not going to expose it to anything, and it cracked all by itself. This one hasn't. So I think they finally got it right. This is that beautiful, what is it, D5. And again, you can see that flare design that Hongdian is, I think, famous for. This is a beautiful pen. And without saying that it rivals, obviously this is a much girthier pen. This is the Lemon. What is it? Is this the M2S? I believe this is my recent M2S. And there you have the pens capped. Here you have the pens uncapped. Take a look at that beautiful, beautiful nib. I mean, that is a very, very nice nib, folks. I don't know if you can see that. So for those of you, I know it's a little bit too much. The Dragon is very busy. But having said that, I just really love that pen. And you could see it similar size to the 231, but it's overall, it's smaller than the rest, at least uncapped. And you can see the comparison with the Lamy Safari there. Now here are the pens capped. It's a fairly good capper. You'll notice I did not cap my Ear of the Dragon Hongdian pen because I'm afraid to put any pressure on that cap and crack the wood. So if you'll permit us, we will not cap that one. I'm sure it's not the end of the world, but you could see that capped, or posted, I should say, It does take on a different size. By the way, I did want to mention, they say that this is a brass construction. So this may be brass. I've never, can never trust the description sometimes, but it doesn't give you the sense of that heavy brass like this one, for example, the 231. It gives you more of a sensation, almost like an aluminum alloyed kind of weight. It's slightly heavier, but I would say it's a very thin brass construction, if it is brass, because it's not as heavy as the 231 and certainly not as heavy as the D5. So there you have it. I think capped, it gives you a nice sensation. It doesn't back weight it too much, slightly, but not too much. It's still a very, very comfortable pen. And unposted is also very comfortable, and that's nice flare. That section is not slippery at all. It's kind of, on the contrary, kind of sticky. Maybe it's just a question of my hands or my fingers, but certainly I don't complain about it being a slippery surface. It does have kind of a, you can see it's machined, and maybe that machining has taken away all that slippery characteristic. So there you have it. So those are the pens. Posted. Comparison. We'll come back with some measurements and then we'll get to that writing sample. Well, back for the writing sample, and there you have the ink. It's Monteverde Capri Blue. I just got this ink, actually. I was surprised I have so many Monteverde inks, and for some reason I had skipped this one and realized it didn't have it in my collection, so I added. And Capri has just such a very special meaning to me, just because I've been there so often, and it's a beautiful, beautiful island just off the Amalfi Coast. For those of you who've not had the chance to be there, I suggest you put it on your bucket list. Just a gorgeous place to visit, but even nicer place to stay overnight, because all the tourists leave during the day, and the island becomes a completely different place to be in. And that, I can tell you right now that this depiction of Capri Blue, of the sea, is just excellent. So it brings back a lot of nice memories, and I thought I'd share that with you. So there you have the Capri Blue, and I think it's going to match well, fairly well, with this blue background on the barrel of this pen. So there you have the swatch and the ink. As far as the paper is concerned, it's Tomo River. This is the Galen leather notepad. Okay, so we're all set. This is a medium nib, so let's just see how this nib works out. So this is the Hongdian. Yeah, very nice shading, this ink. 8041. The nib is an Hongdian steel number 6 medium nib. The ink is Monteverde Capri Blue. Just a beautiful ink. Glad I got it. It's got some shading. It's got some sheen, no shimmer, and it flows very nicely. All Monteverde inks, by the way, are very, very, very wet and juicy, so very nice. In terms of the pen itself, extremely wet. The ink helps. Fast writing, Look at this, smooth, really no issues. Going up, sideways, follows just very nicely. Does it have a little bit of spring? A little bit. You can see that if I just push it down, it does give me a little thicker line. But as you could see, it's not meant to flex, but it does have a nice springiness to it. Just, in fact, all these Hongdian, these type of Hongdian nibs do. Just absolutely, totally underestimated nibs and pens. I know I had one comment. I believe I had declared one of the Hongdian pen maker of the year, Chinese pen maker of the year last year, and one comment was that are a bunch of fakes and etc. I completely disagree with that comment. I mean, look, a lot of pens of Chinese pens are inspired, but Hongdian is probably the one that copies the least, and a lot of original designs, beautiful pens, excellent nibs. So I have nothing but good things to say. Rarely do I get an Hongdian pen that doesn't perform. In terms of reverse writing, you know what? Very nice. It gives you an extra fine line. So for those of you who do want to know, very nice. So this pen, this nib is very wet, very smooth, and very constant. Oh, I just want to try the pen posted. Here we go. We'll do the likes and dislikes. A little back-weighted, I would say, posted. Okay, just slight. I like the design. I like the build quality of this pen. I like the nib. Just an excellent nib. I mean, I give this nib a 10 on 10. It is closer to a fine than a medium, I would say to you. But, if I pass just a slight shim in that, I'd get it just to widen it up a little bit, and it'll give me that extra line, if you will. Value, I believe that this, last time I checked, this was selling at $38 Canadian. So US, it's what, 24? Something to that effect. $24, $25. Dislikes, 0. I don't have any dislikes to this pen. It's not earth-shattering, okay, by all means, but it's a classy looking pen that writes beautifully. And you know what? I just don't have any dislikes. Is it a go-to pen? Absolutely. 10 on 10 for me. It's going into my rotation for this week, folks. So there you have it. I've just signed my review. Hope you enjoyed that. I think this is a good pen. I like it. It's the forgotten one. I had forgotten all about this pen. I didn't, and it kept being in my cart without getting ordered. It finally got ordered, and you know what, folks? I don't regret it at all. So I hope you enjoyed that. Just another pen for you to consider. I'm not here to sell. I'm just here to review. If you were wondering about that pen, well, you now have my opinion. Okay. So folks, look, have a great week. It's the week of May 20th when this video will probably get published. So it's a holiday. I'm taking Monday off. I'm going to do a couple of reviews, kind of get ahead a little bit. stay tuned. You should have the Capo di Monte Gioia review up this week, and maybe this one as well. So enjoy it. It's springtime here in Montreal. I'm all set to go to my golf game in just a few hours, and I hope you're enjoying the weather. Hope you're enjoying your pens. Grazie molto. Thank you very much. A fra poco. We'll see you all soon. Have a great day.